The Cheyenne Mountain Complex wasn't built, it was found. Military locations such as the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, Colorado Springs, a fully self-sustaining underground city. Designated as a military complex, pinning it as military, and doing this to restrict the public to an old world, extremely advanced location. By saying that this site is for military purposes, this immediately makes it illegal for the public to go there and dig deeper. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex, it includes 25-ton doors. We are told that there are 15 massive underground buildings with independent air, water, and power supply, all inside this mountain. And the ability to survive any type of event that takes place on the surface. I believe that we've found a location and other sites that are from the old world and are now pinned as military sites today. I believe that these locations, and there are many all over the world, these locations were constructed by the previous civilization. These sites were found. They were looted by the governments, and these sites are fully restricted to the public today. We are all told that the official purpose of the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was all for the Cold War, serving as the headquarters for the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, doing all of this to monitor nuclear missile launches and coordinating U.S. defense responses. So they pin it as a military complex, and then this immediately, with no questions asked, it immediately restricts it from the public and the whole world. As soon as they do this, this location is now classified, all for national security. The official story, what they're telling us, is that this massive facility was carved 2,000 feet into solid granite, doing this using 1960s technology and getting the whole thing done in just 6 years. None of this is logical at all, especially when we see that it is recorded that 700,000 tons of solid granite were removed from Cheyenne Mountain. Just 6 years, during an era that predated modern tunneling equipment, digital surveying tools, and high-efficiency debris removal systems. Not only did they remove the granite perfectly and never made a mistake, but they also supposedly constructed the 15 steel-reinforced underground buildings. And nobody is talking about this. This would be one of the most incredible accomplishments in modern engineering. But I believe that the reason that it's off limits and not praised from the rooftops is because it was found. And there is so much more than 15 buildings, and they wanted to use the old world sites, and they still do today. They relocated NORAD operations in 2006, but the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was never decommissioned, because if they did this, it would no longer be classified, and the public would then be able to see what was going on there. So they kept it going. Still for military use, of course. Fully staffed, we are told. Power stayed on and operational. In 2015, the Pentagon awarded a $700 million contract to upgrade the infrastructure. Could you even imagine what is really going on in there? Could you even imagine what they found? Is this a location that the previous civilization stayed, hid? Does this place that we live, does it have resets more often than we know? A place that we are told is fully self-sustaining, an underground city with massive underground buildings and independent air, water, and power supply. This doesn't sound like something that our timeline does. Not at all. This sounds like something that the previous civilization would do. And we all know what our technology was in the 1960s. We know what it looked like. Thanks to NASA.gov, we have a great photo. We were riding around on lawn chairs, and we had upside-down umbrellas. It was incredible. No, our civilization, in my opinion, was not constructing massive, self-sustaining underground complexes in just 6 years underneath a mountain. And the Cheyenne Mountain Complex 100% remains active and a critical component of the U.S. national defense. And what's so weird is that they will not take a picture and show us all the 15 buildings that are in there. Meaning, of course, like we said earlier, that there may be more. And they're probably not steel beam buildings. I believe that these are palaces. They will not show us a picture of the barracks, storage vaults, or the deepest tunnels. No visual proof of any deeper levels below the main complex, meaning this thing could be massive and so much bigger than we are told. I guarantee that in the 1960s, after they said they built this in 6 years, if they allowed the public to go inside at that point, their 6-year timeline would have been shredded in an instant because the complex would have been massive and so much bigger than we are told. And a 6-year timeline would have been laughable. We've seen the 18-level tunnel network in Turkey from episode 84. This place had to be so much more in depth and still is today. A much more powerful site. A site that would have totally shredded their mainstream story hour in a single second. And the craziest part is that this is not the only one in the world. There is another one in Russia during the Cold War. And of course, we are told that this one was built in the 1970s, all during the same exact time period. It was just normal to start constructing massive complexes right underneath the mountain. No, I believe that they were finding them because they figured out what to look for. And the one in Russia, we are told, doesn't just have a few buildings. We are told that U.S. intelligence believes that this one has massive, full underground cities. And trust me, we are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 127 of My Lunch Break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. 1775 Coffee just dropped their starter kit. So if you've been scared to commit, don't worry. It's not vegan, it's not woke, and it won't ask you for your pronouns. It's coffee. You already know we back it. Now here's your excuse to finally try it. You will be getting $200 worth of coffee and gear for just $99. That is a steal in a world where your local coffee shop charges $9 for disgusting burnt oat foam. And we all know that coffee prices continue to climb. You get 3 full-size bags of their best coffee, the Bold Dark Roast, Smooth Medium Roast, and their new anti-aging blend. Yes, coffee that actually tastes good and age better. Exclusive merch. You get a matte black tumbler stamped with unapologetic freedom quotes. And you get a gold spoon that keeps your coffee sealed. You also get a branded frother that does exactly what it's told. All of it is single origin, small batch, mold-free, and toxin-free. And every bag is rated 85 plus on the cupping scale, which puts it among the top specialty coffees in the entire world. If you've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it, I'm going to tell you what. It is. Go to 1775coffee.com/lunchbreak and grab your starter kit before it's gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that not only tastes great, but actually backs what you believe. Go to 1775coffee.com/lunchbreak and grab your starter kit today. 1775 is giving away free starter kits loaded with premium coffee and gear. While coffee prices have jumped 30% this year, 1775 said screw it and just started flinging free coffee kits like a caffeinated Oprah on a rampage. If you've been waiting for a sign or just a halfway decent excuse to finally try it, this is it. But it's only live while quantities last. You'll get 3 bags of coffee. You get 2 16-ounce of your choice, either dark or medium. Plus you get their longevity blend, which is of course infused with anti-aging CAAKG. It is clinically proven to reduce biological age. Translation: your morning coffee literally just got more effective than your multivitamin, your chiropractor, and a midlife crisis combined. You cover 2 bags, and 1775, they cover the rest. That's a full 16-ounce bag of coffee, plus premium gear. You get a matte black tumbler, frother, gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Whole bean, ground, or pods. It's your call. Start your day with a coffee that actually backs what you believe. Smooth, jitter-free, anti-woke, and laced with the kind of energy that keeps you young, sharp, and mildly dangerous. Go to 1775coffee.com/lunchbreak and grab your free starter kit before somebody realizes that this was a terrible business decision to just start giving away coffee. Go to 1775.com/lunchbreak and get your coffee today. And I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. I'll put the link right in the description. And you can use my referral code, MLB. If you click the Tartaria button, you'll see the My Lunch Break playlist right here. The app is awesome. Thank you to Rebecca Kay, David and Sherry Ferguson, Chuck Templeton, Joy Lee, Stephanie Nolan, the Burlesons, Suez KC, Edwin Rice, Charles Kruger, Dan Woodall, Dale, DJ Clicktrack, Jacob Law, Jim Ribley and Christine Duggan, Kyle Glasscock, PKTFnews.org, Ben Dries NL, Natalie Shippenoff, Melissa Edgar, Biggles, Clayton Lamar, Double Task Homestead, John Adams, Robert Sozolins, The Arnolds, Attila Power, Forbidden Gecko Love, Justin Grobner Grubb, Leah Strong, Dakota Dunn, EdgarT-shirts.com, Jason Hochberg, Marie C., Michael Dingyu, Patriot Armory, Tom O'Hara, Michael D. Connor, C3SCOB, Jeffrey Temple, SonyaDane.com, James Alt, Bucksui, Jason Press, Suki Warrior, We the People, Migs, Mark Chapman, Muji and DeClan, Ariana Oates, Jenica Joyce, Nathan Burba, Ski, Beacon of Truth, Liberty's Arborist, Thomas Thorpe Peterson, Zinger Coffee and Tea, EvelynMcGregor.com, Diamond Jewel, Emily Maryland, Felipe, Curious Cat, Mike D, etc., Dan McGee, Lori Hedvig Johnson, Ellie Annie, Seth Craigo, D Woods, Glenn Gunderson, Mousie's Mouse Cheese Records, Robert's Brain is Gone, Extreme Reality Check, Wayne T, Late for Dinner, Eolo Goncalves, Blake, Rick Tapke, William Richard Jeffries V, Dax Bilchek and Son, Dylan Mugenberg, Leonard Insalacro, Robert Petro, Katz Hill, Susie Q, Yark 143, Sven Eric, Janet Elizabeth Carey, Kitty Kitties, Making Eagles, GOL, I'm Patriot, Doc Halo, Kenneth Putt, Brenna Fernandez, Paraduction, Henry's Mom, Necrodemonics, A&W Kerrigan, Tim Skin, Rod Wah, Growl-Shaped Beacon, Sweetest of Peas, Corbin Mechanical, Buck, VKH Bonner, Breaking Bigfoot, Rydian and the Residuals, Road Warrior, Jimmy Jacobs, Bruce Latour, Anna Marley and Nunzio, Codrenth, David and Irene, Al Pisano, Ivan Apocalypse, Ardra Rogers, Brazawayan, Armin Walker, Russian Madness, Seeking Jesus, When He Set a Compass Upon the Face of the Depth, Laurel L. Burnett, David Rauschenbach, Hoppy Johns, KC, Lucy, The Lady Lacey Show, Shibba Shaba in the Darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. The Yaman Mountain, Russia, where public tours don't exist. The size is of course unknown, with multiple intelligence assessments, including declassified US reports, suggesting that this is not a bunker, but rather a vast underground city complex. It is believed to house 30 to 60,000 people, with extensive independent life support systems yet again, including water purification, agricultural capabilities, and energy production. All of this under a mountain again. These things are 100% places that the old world lived and protected thousands of people, if not millions. All from the event that we have talked about so many times on this channel. The event, and possibly events, that wiped out the previous civilization, resetting everything, burying so many structures, melting so many buildings, and even made some of them look like caves. Again, this is all in my opinion. You are always free to think whatever you'd like. My goal is to find as much evidence as possible, and I believe at this point, we have found where the previous civilization went to survive. And we also found where they went if they didn't get inside one of these massive underground complexes. They would go to the catacombs or the necropolises, and so on and so forth. Episode 72, episode 78. episode 92, episode 105, 106, episode 108, episode 110, episode 111, and 112 all show exactly where the previous civilization went. The ones that didn't make it, the structures that didn't make it. A great one to watch is episode 73. There is so much documented information as to where the previous civilization is and what they built. Now let's keep going. A 6-page declassified document released in 2012, June 3rd. The declass that we just talked about. We get a map with projected rail lines, completed rail lines, road and construction areas, operation areas, housing, and more. Then on the next page, page 4, which I'm guessing had another map, we get page denied. So obviously there's a lot going on here that's still off limits to the public. Page 5, we get the analysis from 1984. Declassed. We are told that there is an extensive underground construction project where it is constructed into hard crystalline rock. The function of the project, which we already know here, it doesn't resemble a mining operation. Of course it doesn't. And it has not been determined what the true function of the project is at that time. They cannot figure out what the function of the project is. These intelligence officials were over there and they were very good at their job. I believe that they didn't have the clearance to know what this was, but they were so good at their job that they figured out that this was not a mining project, and I believe that this is something that they'd never seen before. The US government declassed that this is not for mining, and the true purpose of the underground complex is unknown. Going on down here to say, they took images revealing that the project spanned almost 20 nautical miles. Massive, and far larger than any normal military base. Page 6 of 6, stating they were constructing buildings that were covering vertical shafts to descend into the complex, as well as the tunnel entrances. And they gave us the coordinates right here at the bottom. These locations right now show a ton of trees, and no street view, even going back in time to 2008. It's covered by trees and you can't put the guy down. But every single one of us already know something is there in all of these locations. These locations may look like nothing right now, but these are markers to enter underground. These are locations to the shafts. Remember, we were told in the D-class that they were designed to blend in with no security fences. If we were all gonna hide something, you wouldn't mark it with a sign. You would make it so that when you look overhead, you would see nothing. It would look exactly like it looks today. You would blend it in. I guarantee you, if you go to these locations today, there will be an entrance. So let's go back and take this even further. The first coordinates that we are given looks like nothing, but it is of course located right next to this town. Mezgari is a closed city. The entire town was built, operated, and secured by the military for the purpose of supporting classified projects. This is a closed town, a closed city. The entire city was built. It was operated and secured by the military for the purpose of supporting classified projects. Entry to this town is strictly prohibited to outsiders. Even the Russian citizens must obtain special military authorization just to visit. So you got to be a part of the military. You can't just go in this city. And you have to have military authorization in order to work within its borders. This city houses military personnel, engineers, scientific specialists, and admin staff. This location, this entire location, is completely locked down. And these coordinates are access points to this massive old world underground city that is right underneath the ground in this location. So, who gave us these coordinates? Why should we trust them? These locations, they were given to us by top U.S. military intelligence analysis, trained to detect and assess secret enemy infrastructure. The NPIC, or the National Photographic Interpretation Center. Now going back to Google Earth for a second, we have talked about how these mountains could be massive complexes inside. We've seen it, and now I believe we are totally getting confirmation. In my opinion, these were not recently constructed underground cities. I fully believe that they were found And the ones that are in use today, like these two that we have shown, were just incredible. So incredible that they didn't want to destroy them. They wanted to use them. So just pinning them as military complexes is the easiest way to do this. And nobody's going to think twice about it. And it's theirs to keep forever. Whatever technology, any artifacts inside, the tools, or the structure itself, all of it will be off limits to the public. And it's hidden. You can't see it because it's underground. And they can actually put it to use right now. And if anything catastrophic happened again, they have a mountain palace from the old world to go hide in. Let's take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber, and everybody who likes the episodes. You are all awesome. I appreciate all of you. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There is so much more on the way that I cannot wait to share with you all. We are just getting started on this channel. We are on YouTube. We're on Rumble. Please subscribe on Rumble if you aren't already. We premiere the episodes over there with a live chat. We are also on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify if you're looking for even more content from us. So Denver seems pretty interesting. We have the Denver airport, where the entire world knows at this point that there are underground complexes there, when they just went $3.1 billion over budget, saying that it was all for baggage handling systems, with many engineers and contractors who worked on the site describing entire underground levels, including tunnels and large spaces. All of this, of course, had nothing to do with baggage. The DIA has a vast underground baggage system that was supposedly just abandoned. This is confirmed. Also confirmed, multiple levels of underground tunnels, with workers, again reporting sealed off tunnels, rooms, and security clearances. All of this is under a public airport, with 5 known buildings being underground, and were constructed during the early phases of DIA construction. Now, I'm not saying these buildings were constructed by the previous civilization at the Denver airport, but what I am suggesting is that there is a massive complex, and it's called the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, and it's located right down the road. And again, we don't know how big this thing really is, or where it extends underground. We know it's there, that's undeniable, and we also know that we are not allowed to go and see what's inside or how big it is. We know that the Denver airport also has buildings underground. These locations are all up for debate. All questions about them have to be on the table at this point. We know they are off limits to the public. We know there are underground buildings, locations that thousands of people can live, no problem at all. These are locations that can sustain massive catastrophic events. So why would we all think that they couldn't be connected right down the road, right under our feet, all over the world? And what else is right next to the Cheyenne Mountain Complex? Now that we're going to start questioning military bases. The Peterson Air Force Base, Colorado Springs, the headquarters for the U.S. Space Command. This is where the U.S. Space Force is located right now, right across the street from the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Is the Space Force to see what's going on above us, or is it to see what's going on below us? You tell me. We have another military complex right here, and then another one next to the Denver airport. All of this is telling me that this is all connected, and it's massive. The United States is different than Russia. The United States of America, the U.S. government, cannot legally create closed cities like we just saw in Russia. This is because of the constitutional protection. The 5th and the 14th Amendment guarantee citizens the fundamental right to move freely within and between states, a principle that has been repeatedly upheld by the Supreme Court. So because the government cannot say that this city or this location is closed to the public, like we saw in Russia, they have to legally find another way. And this is exactly why they created the military base excuse. And now you know. And once you know, you will never go back to not knowing. Bases like the Cheyenne Mountain and Peterson Space Force Base, these are federal military properties where civilians are barred because they cannot enter controlled military zones. They are no longer public towns, and this is how it's done. blocking off old world underground sites in 1956, documented hundreds of times. Our timeline over and over and over. The Finders. Do you enjoy the truth? Please subscribe. You are not going to want to miss what's coming next.